Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another episode of RVBusiness Capitol Talk, sponsored by the THOR Corporation. As always, I'm Rick Kessler, he's Sherm Goldenberg, and joining us is Bob Martin, President and CEO of THOR Industries, Inc. Bob has he spent the full day talking about the rather stunning third quarter financial performance report. So instead of talking about that, Bob, let's talk about Boilermaker football recruiting.
Hopefully they're going to do a better job than last year. Actually, I think they already have. So I'm excited for football season. As you guys see, I'm in my motorhome. This is a fake backdrop for the day, but it truly is my 40-foot Tuscany motorhome that I do take to football games. And as I told you guys earlier, I'm taking to a race this weekend, and we're going to go camp while we're watching a little dirt track.
There's well, you mentioned that the dirt track, there's a sponsorship coming up or something along those lines, right?
Well, it's Tony Stewart owns the dirt track over in Eldora in Ohio, and I've gotten to know Tony and his dad. So there's a big race coming up this week, and we're just going to do a couple heat races to do something fun to sponsor and do something for there are 4,000 campers at this race. So for us to kind of do something fun while I'm there, we're going to see how it goes. So something new.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sure.
But you know, we wake up today with your third quarter results, and Bob, and I think Rick used the word stunning in passing there, but stunning doesn't even cut it. These are phenomenal. What in your view are the most important aspects of this, other than what we might think? I mean, what to you as a CEO?
Yeah, no, just for us, I mean, we think very strongly of the overall strength of the industry. I mean, you're coming out of 2 years that were very strange for the overall market, for our lives, and I think it just speaks to the confidence that people have, you know, our dealers have, just where we're going long term. I mean, there's going to be some bumps short term, but you know, dealers going through last year and the beginning part of this year, they're still feeling good about the RV industry, and a lot of what we're shipping are these products that, you know, we brought some new people to the RV space, and I think we've been really successful in keeping them. Some have traded up already, and it really just speaks to the long term of the industry, and we're excited. And you know, even the lady in the background, I'd love for her to buy an RV.
You don't see me.
We'd be remiss without at least repeating just a couple of the key numbers out of your report today. The net sales, 4.66 billion. That's a 34.6 increase over same time last year. But the one that really jumped out at me anyways was one of the two that jumped out at me was the gross profit margin, 17.3. That's percent. That's again stunning.
Yeah, and it's really just, it goes to our teams, you know, the ability to increase efficiency. You know, we've had a lot of things that we've been doing in the last few years just to help our company on the bottom line, and it's helped in these trying times. But as you know, we've had, you know, more you know, consistent supply has kicked in, you know, in the last couple of months. That's all contributes to that, and you know, for us, that's definitely a high point, you know, in the quarter, but we're hoping, you know, we can just continue the positive pace we're at. You know, with you know, we've got some macro headwinds. I think, you know, you're looking at numbers from last quarter, which you know, that was several weeks ago, and the world is a different place week by week, and we see it in Europe, we see it in the United States. There are just macro headwinds coming at, you know, everybody in the world. And, you know, you look at gas prices and things like that. I mean, we're realists. We know that last quarter was great, but we know that we're going to have some challenges, but, you know, we all have them. And fortunately for me, I've got a really experienced team that they've been through ups and downs. And, you know, we know that the industry, the world can turn on a dime, and we need to adjust with it. So last quarter was great. next quarter, we'll see. We think it's going to be good, but just never know where it's going to go.
One of the more interesting aspects to your third quarter report, in my mind, is you get a backlog of 13.88 billion, and as amazing as that number is, it's down 21.7% since your last quarter. Could you speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a big number, but it kind of varies in range of product, and you still have Airstream is just still has an incredible backlog number. We don't break them out by company. The high-end diesels, Tiffin's still doing very well. Integra, where some of the smaller trailers, the backlogs, not much is there right now because we built so much. So part of we built a lot that eats into the backlog. We've been trying to talk to dealers to rationalize the backlog to make sure that what they have in there is product that they still want, because many times when you go over a year, the dealers' wants and needs change. So we want them to work with our teams and make sure they've got the right units coming in. And you have Europe in there as well, and Europe, their backlog is large, and it's hard to really work that down when we can't get enough chassis. So it's a combination of a lot of things. So it is big, but it's really in certain segments. And our goal has been to kind of really normalize production as we go into the summer. So, we can, help dealers balance their inventory so that we can get into a fall and an open house, which we haven't had in years, and kind of make this a normal year to where dealers balance their inventory during the summer. And then at open house, they reanalyze everything. They, find the products that they really want to grow with, and that's what they buy, and they plan out for the year. So that's kind of the goal we had coming into the spring. It was really a setup that really is made for the open house.
I think in the release this morning, it was characterized as maintaining production discipline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, for us, that's where there a number of our factories that have been 4 days a week. I think a lot of companies are looking at extended shutdown in the summer, and this just creates good behavior. As inventories are building on dealer lots, you take those summer months, the prime selling season, and help them lower their inventory. That way they can buy fresh product in the fall. And this is, for us, just simply good business practice, and working with the dealers as our partners. It's something that they definitely want, because no one wants anyone to really overproduce. They want to make sure they've gotten used to a great situation where it's kind of just in time. And I think there's a desire to have something similar to that. I don't think it'll ever be quite the way it was the last 2 years. I think the last 2 years were really just not something that is easy to duplicate. But for us, we're going to try to work with the dealers to just get it to where it's a little bit more manageable.
Do you see any relevant comparisons to the U.S. and European markets right now?
Yeah, it's hard to really compare them neck to neck, just because the European market is 80% motorized and 20% towable, and the United States is flip-flopped. And in Europe, we're so tied up just because we can't get chassis. So it's hard to have a great comparison, but the demographic and the buyer is the same. And we noticed the same thing with younger, more diverse, just everyone wants to come out and enjoy the lifestyle. And in Europe, it's little camper vans. And we're talking, smaller than a Mercedes here, these little, the smaller version of Mercedes, smaller Fiat, with the pop top, and they're barely even an RV. They just have an RV kitchen, and you can take that out and put an extra seat in it. It becomes a minivan. So they just camp in different ways. No air conditioners, no generators. So it's a different market, but people just using them, in similar ways, but they're much smaller. So, but very healthy market. For us, if we had more chassis, it would be a very different picture.
I've got a nice finale question, Rick, but I don't want to force your hand. Did you have a question you want to ask first?
Well, my question probably is going to be the same or similar to yours in just
Open
2022.
house. Oh,
No, go there first and then we'll get to it. You
Well,
see open house,
Yeah.
do you see open house being all it can be this year, maybe?
you're asking me or Rick?
Nobody cares what Rick says.
Yeah, no, for me, I think there's a strong desire to get back to the way things were, and we haven't had open house for 2 years in a row. I know I've watched our people plan and put all the hard work in, and then canceled the last second 2 years in a row. It's fingers crossed that we feel like this is really waning, and we need to get back to where life is normal. And so for us, I'm coming to you from RVDA in Washington. I haven't been here in 3 years. And so I'm excited for open house to come back to Elkhart, to bring all of our dealers back. I think the dealers are excited just to get back into a normal rhythm of meeting with their partners and having dinner, having a cocktail, just spending time with the group. And many of the dealers probably haven't seen each other in years either. So I think it'll be an event. It'll be fun. It'll be a party. That's dealers last year. That was the one thing. If we have an open house, just make sure it's fun and it's a party. And so that's definitely part of our goal. We're excited to get back into our Peter Orthwine Pavilion back at the Hall of Fame, and to have a very expansive display, and excited to have things like the Tiffin Group, to have them come display as part of the THOR group for the first time ever. I know they're excited to come up and just be part of it, where before they kind of felt like outsiders out, off on the side, and many years they wouldn't even show. So this year, I think I'm excited, and I think there's a great buildup within the industry for open house to come back.
Rick, should I ask my question then, the finale question I was alluding to?
Go right ahead.
All right. So, Bob, big picture. Last question, big picture. Well, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but what do you see if you had to describe the road ahead? Well, what are you seeing in general, and then with regard to that for this industry?
Yeah, I mean, it's I think we see the COVID, just the fog, lifting, and that will get better. But then we're in an interesting time right now with inflation, interest rates, fuel costs at a record high. So I think we have to be realistic with what's facing us. And I think the RVers, they're still going to live the lifestyle. They're still going to camp. They just won't go as far. This is something KOA would share their numbers with us, that they're still booked out for the year, and customers just they don't go as far. But war in Europe, there are just so many things coming at us this year.
Wild card. Yep.
Yeah, there's no one thing. So to really predict, that's why I think we're just trying to be cautious. We're trying to be prudent in production, and we're managing it every week, every day. Just talking about it with our companies, and for me, I have to take all this information back to my board. And for us, it's just we're an industry that we're not great at predicting the future, but we're great at reacting. And I think we'll come out ahead no matter what. And I look forward to the journey. And we have a lot of fun things coming up, and we'll have a lot at open house. For me, we've got a big investor day at Airstream coming up in June, something we haven't done in a few years as well. And we'll have some new things to unveil there as well. But for me, it's going to be an interesting year. I know that for sure. Yeah. But parts of your life are going to get back to more normal, and then other parts will be a challenge. So I just think we all just need to be cautious and just kind of react as we can.
All right, I'm glad you're out of your quiet time from your third quarter. And
Yep.
great to talk with you, man.
Yeah, good to talk with you, and it was good to see you out here earlier this week. I'm disappointed you didn't stay later.
Yeah, me too. All right. You take care. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
All right, thank you. Good to see you guys.